This episode was recorded a while ago. Though some of the information may have since been updated, the content remains timeless. You're listening to NFTeaseMe with MIKEY, the show where I interview successful entrepreneurs, artist creators, and thought leaders pioneering the world of NFTs. My guest today is Chris Bell. Chris is a real estate investor turned virtual land developer who buys, rents, and trades land in the Metaverse. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Can you first start by telling us a little bit about yourself and how you first got into real estate?
Yeah, sure. I got into real estate when I was about 21 years old or so, and bought my first house. And after I bought my first house, I started thinking about paying down the mortgage and putting all my extra money into paying down the mortgage. And I realized that I wouldn't have the extra cash to buy a second house if I wanted to. So I started reading books about how to buy a second house and how to rent it out. And I did that with a condo and then a second condo and a third condo over about 5 to 10 years. And I currently live in my primary house with my wife, and I have 3 condos that I rent out to tenants. So I started to understand quickly about cash flow and having the monthly expenses and bringing in the annual income that was slightly higher, at least 10% higher than my costs per year.
Interesting. So you're in property, but you're also interested in Bitcoin. Which sort of asset do you more sort of lean towards, and why?
My foundation, I would say so it's a matter of risk. How much risk are you willing to take? And if I was willing to, sell all of my houses and take that giant risk, I would maybe leap into Bitcoin. But the problem with Bitcoin is it doesn't provide monthly income. It doesn't provide annual income against the money that I put into it. So I use my foundation, so to speak, in real estate. I have my houses and I have my income, and then I use that income to slide into Bitcoin. And even still, I kind of am at the point where I'm not sure if I want to own Bitcoin any more than I would want to own gold or anything else that doesn't really create an annual income. I know that those are all asset classes that people have, and to be diversified, it all makes sense. But in general, I would never want to put all of my money into gold or Bitcoin because of the annual income situation that wouldn't provide revenue for me to be able to pay all of my expenses per month. So that's why I don't necessarily hold a lot of funds in Bitcoin. I'd rather hold it in actual real estate because of the annual income.
It's less volatile and more steady. And like you said, annual income, way less volatile. What was it though?
When I bought one of my first condos, it was $200,000 and I got the mortgage for it. And when I bought it in around 2008, the financial crash happened right after that. So I rented out the condo for, I think it was $500 or $600 per month profit. And once I rented it out, the tenants stayed there for 5 years, and the price was volatile. It went from 200,000 down to 130. One of the condos in the same unit sold for 130,000, and then it went all the way back up to 240,000. So the volatility is there, in terms of what something's worth for, forever. It's volatile everywhere. But at the same time, that annual income is really it's so much different. I didn't care about the volatility of the house. I couldn't click a button and sell it when it went down because I had a tenant in the house. So that's something I could have easily done. If I had bought Bitcoin at 20,000 and it went down to 7,000, I could have easily sold it with a click of a button, but I couldn't do that with real estate. So it's another reason why I like real estate even better than Bitcoin, to be honest.
Got it. So you're in property in the real world, but you're also in property in the virtual world. Can you take us through how you operate as a virtual landlord and just how you first came across virtual land ownership? Maybe start with that.
Yeah, sure. I kind of went down the rabbit hole of Bitcoin, and from Bitcoin I went to Ethereum. And Ethereum, I realized you could make fungible tokens. So I created a Bell fungible token, which is just 1 million tokens, and I didn't really do anything with it. And then after I found the fungible tokens, I found non-fungible tokens, which are NFTs. And the NFT land that you can hold in your Ethereum wallet, you can rent to artists who are maybe they don't have a ton of money and they can't afford a $5,000 land parcel. So I rent them the parcel for $500 for the year because it cost me $5,000 to buy it, and 10% annual income would be $500. So I decided to start posting some of my land that I bought for $5,000 for rent for a year for $500. Some people called me crazy, said it was too little. Some people said it was too much. I got all kinds of feedback, some good, some bad. And then I found some artists who really, I found two different types of artists. One of them was an artist who wanted to create NFTs, host them on their land. So I would rent the land to them for an annual price that made me money and allowed them to try to create revenue on their creations. But the second thing is also a person who can afford $5,000, but would rather have 10 land parcels around different areas and rent 10 of them at $500 for a year each and spend $5,000 on 10 parcels for an entire year. Because if they have a higher quantity of art that they're producing, or if they have a team of artists where they're producing more art, then they wanted to display it on 10 different land parcels. That was another feature. So I've been renting to both of those different types of people, mostly artists right now, because they're bringing their creation into virtual reality and dropping their NFTs into a little piece of land and showing them off and selling them that way. So they recoup their rental fee by selling their art that they created, and I recoup some 10% annual income by renting it to them. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. And then I also have I have about 50 land parcels in Somnium Space right now, and I rent out 45 of them. So if I was holding 50 land parcels and they were all vacant and all empty, and I was just hoping to resell them later, that would be kind of a silly investment, in my opinion, because all I'm doing is hoping for the price to go up and sell it for more. But instead, now all of the land actually has builds on it. So there's 45 land parcels that are built because of my rentals. So when you walk into Somnium Space and you're walking around the platform and you're looking at all the different land parcels, you're not seeing 50 vacant, empty parcels. You're seeing 45 random artists, some good, some great artists, and everyone posting their stuff on those parcels. So it's a lot of stuff to see, and I'm helping the community by doing that.
I mean, that sounds fascinating. That was a lot of information you gave there, Chris. I think let's take it back a step. So what is a land parcel, firstly? Because I think some listeners will be like, what is a parcel?
Okay, so imagine in virtual reality, you and I, you're in London and I'm in the US. We both put on our headsets and we both sign in to Somnium Space. Somnium Space is like an Earth that has grass and has roads and has city centers. And then it has vacant land, acres of vacant land. And when I say a parcel of land, I'm really talking about an NFT land parcel, which is about an acre of land. So you take an acre of land and you go into a drag and drop builder, and you can drag a wall, drag another wall in, make a roof, make an entire museum, and then you can import your NFTs that you own in your wallet, which is a land parcel, a piece of art, or any type of NFT that you would have on Wearable or OpenSea. You can easily just import right in, size it bigger, size it smaller, move it onto the wall, and display it however you want to display it. So it's a new age 3D website that a tenant can rent and have people jump into VR with their headset on and walk past their parcel, and you end up getting views, and it's a way of marketing and advertising the stuff that you're creating in 3D.
If you're interested in collecting NFTs, why not start with this podcast? This week's episode cover is brought to you by psychedelic NFT artist Natural Warp and available as NFT collectibles for Series 1 of this podcast. Each collector receives a future access token to NFTeaseMe, from live events to meet and greets and deeper access into the minds of my guests. Check out NFTeaseMe on OpenSea and Rarible. Now back to the show. Okay, so land parcels are within virtual worlds, which the virtual world is the Metaverse. So is there only one place you can buy virtual land, or what are the main places one can buy virtual land, buy, sell, or trade it?
So when you say Metaverse, you're actually talking about, 5 or 6 different land platforms, 5 or 6 different Earths, planets that would connect to each other. So you have Decentraland, CryptoVoxels, Sandbox, and Somnium Space. Those are all the front runners right now. They all have their own land platform. They're all unique in their own way. They all have differences and similarities. But the one similarity that all of them have is that you can buy a piece of land in their world, and it's an NFT that you hold in your wallet. And from there are several use cases that you can do with it. You can use it personally. If you're a producer, you can produce things and put it on there and sell those things. You could rent it to somebody else to advertise on that parcel and things like that. So there's a lot to do with the land that you own once you own it. But the Metaverse would be all of the worlds connecting to each other, where I have a land parcel in Somnium Space and I have a land parcel in CryptoVoxels, which are completely different worlds. And then you have a connection between the two of them because my avatar is an NFT that I can drop into CryptoVoxels and I can drop into Somnium Space. My art piece is an NFT that's on Ethereum, which is like the cloud, the new cloud storage. The cloud storage from Ethereum can drop right into CryptoVoxels and drop right into Somnium Space. So if you had a virtual car or a virtual piece of art or virtual clothing for your avatar, each one of those are different unique items. They can all be pulled into CryptoVoxels and all be pulled into Somnium Space. And from there, if my NFT avatar is wearing NFT clothing with my Ethereum money, I can jump from Somnium Space through a portal into CryptoVoxels and then start running around there with my same avatar, my same Ethereum wallet, my same clothing, and run through CryptoVoxels with the same person, the same identity, I guess, if you will. So the metaverse is connecting the 2 or 4 or 5 worlds all together and allowing the cloud storage of the NFTs to jump from platform to platform.
So the metaverse is sort of like, if you could imagine the universe and the different worlds, like you've got Decentraland, let's say that's Earth, you've got CryptoVoxels, that's Mars, you've got Sonium Space, that's Venus, and that's how they all sort of connect with one another. And
Absolutely.
I think you mentioned wearables in that, or skins. So wearables and skins are NFT digital assets. I think they're clothing or like little features you can have in game, that sort of thing. Is that what it is?
Absolutely. Just like the stuff that you have in real life. You are wearing a non-fungible shirt right here. This is non-fungible because if it was fungible, it would be the exact same shirt and 100 people would be wearing it. I mean, I guess there is a large version of this shirt, but then it's not exactly the same because I wore mine 15 times and someone else may not have. So they all have their own wear and tear, and that's why they're non-fungible. But ultimately, yes, the Ethereum is like the new cloud storage that is all blockchain encrypted. My shirt, and then I can pull my shirt in and I can sell my shirt to you. And then you can put the shirt on your avatar because you own it in your wallet. The whole idea is that once the item ends up in your wallet, it can connect to your avatar and land on your land parcel.
So the avatar is basically how you move throughout these different worlds. It's your character, basically.
Yep. On Somnium Space right now, you can go into the SDK, which is Unity. It's like a drag and drop software that you download onto your computer. And once it's on your computer, you jump in and you can build an avatar. And Somnium Space has created like a mannequin of an avatar, and then you can manipulate it in all different ways and hit the mint button. And when you hit mint, it doesn't go into Somnium's database, it goes into the Ethereum blockchain. And once it's in the Ethereum blockchain, somebody can sell that item to me. And once I own it in my wallet and I sign into Somnium Space will see inside my wallet that I have that avatar and allow me to pick it and use it. And then I enter Somnium Space with that avatar. And then within minutes, I can sell that same avatar to you, and then you can sign into Somnium Space. Minutes later, once you own it in your wallet, it will show up in your availability so that you can jump in, and along with all your clothing. So when you sign into Somnium Space, it will show you all your NFTs that are in your wearable and in your OpenSea wallet, which both also connect to Ethereum. So once they know what's in your wallet, you can click to Somnium Space, click the avatar that you want, click the shirt, click the shoes, click the jewelry. Once you have all that stuff on, you jump into the space and you have your land parcel that you already created, that you already have all your NFT art that you created on it. And you can sit there as a customer service agent waiting for people to come to your museum or to show off your product. And when people enter, you say hi to them and you show off your products, and hopefully you sell something from there. Maybe what you're selling is digital shirts or clothing.
So wait, if we were going to do sort of basics, how would someone go about buying or renting virtual land? Like someone who's never been into the metaverse before, how do you go about that? Like, where do you go? What do you need equipment wise?
I won't sugarcoat it. It's not easy. It's a lot of networking and sort of like being a salesperson. So when I see someone on Twitter or I see someone on Discord, such as an artist, someone who's creating, someone who's producing, who says, wow, I can't believe land is so expensive. When's the next auction? How can I possibly get involved? I'll send a message to that person and say, look, I can get you involved if you want to for 10% of the cost of current parcels. So whatever the current parcel is going for, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, I'll rent it out for an entire year for 10%. And I just throw that out there. And if they like it, then they go for it. But the hard part is talking to 10 different people, which is 10 different sales leads. And then you get one that's really interested, and the one that's really interested, who's really producing a lot of art, who really sees the value of renting something for $500 a year, that they can actually make money on it and not just put a house there and let it sit there. Someone who can actually make money on it is going to really see the value and want to jump in and do that.
Okay, so that's for artists, but what if someone wanted to become, like yourself, a virtual landlord? How would they go about that? How do they look at buying land parcels? I think I've seen somewhere as well that you can buy domain names. I'm not sure if that's to do with different roads or anything like that within these virtual lands. How would you go down that route?
So the easiest way is to research your favorite platform, whether it's SomniumSpace or CryptoVoxels or Decentraland. Between the three of them, I think they have really different aesthetics. So when you're looking at that and you pick the one that's your favorite, then jump into the one that's your favorite. Don't just pick the one that you think is the most popular. Pick your favorite based on, the looks and what you can do with the builder to help yourself. So it's tools for you to help yourself, especially as an artist. But for someone who actually wants to be a landlord, they need to consider if they can make more money somewhere else, first of all. But if you have $5,000 and you can buy one parcel, you buy one parcel in SomniumSpace, and now you own it and it's in your wallet. And what you can do from there is enter an Ethereum address onto the parcel inside the Somnium client. So you go into the Somnium, you sign in, and you write in their Ethereum address. So now SomniumSpace knows that I own the parcel and that I'm allowing access to this Ethereum address. So that land parcel shows up in their client so that they can drag and drop items onto the land, whether it's their blockchain items or any type of furniture. There's all kinds of items and clip art type things that you can add into your parcel and move around and make it unique for yourself. But if you're not going to do that and you're just going to rent it to somebody else, now you have to start the process of, finding leads. You go to Twitter and look for people who can't afford a parcel, or go to Twitter and look for someone who's already filled in all their parcels and would like to build another parcel that, maybe they don't want to buy. Or maybe somebody owns in CryptoVoxels, and they're building a lot of cool things and they want to build something in SomniumSpace now. So you reach out to them and you poach them, you solicit them and say, look, come over to SomniumSpace. Here's all the things you can do. And sometimes I'll talk to people for 2 days about all the different things that you can do and get them excited about using SomniumSpace. It's not as easy as buying a website. You used to be able to just buy a website and slap it all up and you're good to go. You can have your own website. But in this land, there's a limited amount of parcels in each one of these platforms. And there's a lot of people who don't want to give up their land. So the only entry point is to rent or to buy it at an expensive price and rent it to somebody else.
I think I saw somewhere that you first started on this virtual land property developer journey by flipping land in Decentraland a few years ago. Like, how did that all work?
So I entered Decentraland and I found Matty, DCL blogger. He had some videos up. He only had a few subscribers at the time. He wasn't as popular as he is now. But he was still popular in that DCL area and people were learning from him. And the motive of a lot of his early videos were, buy the land at a good price, negotiate a good price, and then resell it. And it became like a way for him to buy and sell products, if you will. It was a product that he was buying and selling. So I jumped into that. I was doing that. And there were so many people in Decentraland, even a few years ago, that even the margins became really thin. It becomes difficult to constantly flip things and sell things. I mean, the same thing with a flipper. Someone who flips a real house has to actually, do things to it and change it and alter it in order for it to sell for more. It's hard to just buy something and sell it when you've done nothing with it. So I got into Decentraland a while ago and I was doing that, and I started to learn that we needed to put something on the parcels. I actually was an advocate in Decentraland Discord for pushing rentals, and everybody was just, oh my God, I got so much terrible feedback. No one's going to rent these parcels. You can barely build anything yet. You can't make any money if you do it, and blah, blah, blah. So I just kind of like stopped trying to rent them in Decentraland. I never actually even rented one in Decentraland. I never was able to. Nobody wanted to. And then Decentraland rose. I got out of Decentraland when they said that they weren't going to be VR anymore, virtual reality. So I decided to get out of that. And I moved on to Somnium Space, which was 100% virtual reality. The CEO was just all about virtual reality. And, you know, he likes blockchain, but less about blockchain, more about virtual reality. So the fact that you can get into Somnium and put your headset on and actually, you know, look around with your eyes in first person view is just, it's such a game changer.
Do you need to have a VR headset to be in Sonium Space?
You don't have to have one. No, you can access by using your computer. You can join the entire world on your computer and you can push forward and backwards. You can go around all the different land, or you can go into virtual reality with your headset on. And the last thing is actually clicking a link and going directly to the parcel, which is an isolated version of the parcel. It's not a way of teleporting to the parcel. It's just showing what's on the parcel kind of on your computer. So there's 3 ways to access each land parcel.
Awesome. And how much would someone expect to pay for virtual land? Because you were saying you were buying it in Decentraland years ago, and then making a profit from flipping it. But how much would someone expect to pay for the cheapest and most expensive virtual land?
$5,000 USD, 2 Ethereum, 2 to 3 Ethereum, I would say. Yeah, it's pretty much the going rate. If you push hard enough, the one thing that I'll say is that there's a lot of things for sale and you can place bids. So that's been proven to be effective, even though it's also proven to be slightly annoying for people to get a lot of bids that are slightly low. But even though the cheapest price right now is about 2 Ethereum for most land parcels, you could go around and bid 0.8 Ethereum on 15 to 20 parcels and you might get lucky and someone will just sell it to you because they bought it so long ago. The Ethereum prices jumped up so high, someone might sell it to you. So the more time you take, the more patient you are, you can definitely get a much cheaper parcel. But if you want to run in there and FOMO and you buy the 10 cheapest things or what you assume to be the 10 cheapest things on the market, that might not go very well for you because you're buying up the bottom and then new people will put them for sale. And I don't think that flipping property is any different than someone who would be a day trader of stocks. You're buying Google stock and hoping to sell it for slightly higher, and you feel great. You pat yourself on the back at the end of the day, and then tomorrow you buy it at a higher price and you sell it at a lower price, and you're discouraged. So it's a very hard thing to constantly do unless you're just excellent at finding a good price.
So you rent out your parcels mainly to other crypto artists, and they pay you $500 a month to showcase their crypto art
a year
on your £500 a year. Yeah, that makes more sense. I'm thinking of normal price rentals here. $500 a year to showcase their artwork in your virtual land in Sonium Space.
Yes.
And who is actually going into Sonium Space to view this artwork?
Okay, so there's the difference between producers and creators and consumers and customers and users. The customers and the users are the people who just love VR. And Somnium Space has a huge second side of VR, diehard VR users who have grown up with VR and don't really understand blockchain. Decentraland has a whole ton of blockchain users and blockchain people who like the blockchain side of things and are a little squirmy on putting a VR headset on. But then you have the people who want to put on the headset and don't want to deal with MetaMask and OpenSea and all of those things. So you have the 2 different people, and the virtual reality side of things is a game changer, just like blockchain. And marrying blockchain and virtual reality together is just a match made in heaven. It's amazing because there's been all kinds of gaming out there where you get even game Theft Auto, Grand Theft Auto. When you go into Grand Theft Auto, the scene is great. Everything is great. You're running around. You have your little avatar. You're running around. The only problem with Grand Theft Auto is you don't own the land in there. You don't own the avatar that you're running around with. You can't create an identity or anything like that. You can't make money and monetize inside that world and trade things. Whereas wipe out all the land in Grand Theft Auto and put vacant land and put them all up for sale from Grand Theft Auto on the blockchain. And now everybody can buy them and build on them. And now you have unique experiences with a similar Earth template And now you have all of these unique experiences where you can go to one and play an arcade game, and you go to the next and it's a museum of crypto art, and then you go to the next and it's something else that you can do or play a race car game with your friends. And we all put our headsets on, we all go to the same parcel, we can all join the same concert together, we can all, do things. So for the consumer side of things, let's say you bring Beyonce, some, singer or artist like that. They come in and you blank out the entire parcel so that only people who pay can lower the wall and actually see the concert. So all of us put our headsets on, we all go, and nobody can see Beyonce except the people who pay. We jump in, and now we're all enjoying this concert together in VR. But I mean, if you just jump in on your computer and you push the up key all the way to Beyonce's parcel, and then you just sit here and watch her on your computer, it's just not the same experience. You're not seeing the other avatars. You don't have the headset on where you're looking around. You can't feel the energy of Beyonce right there. So there's a power to the VR, and there's a serious power to the blockchain, but the blockchain is a huge tool for VR. And you could take Grand Theft Auto and start doing exactly what I just said. I mean, they could just put land parcels and NFT land parcels on OpenSea for sale, and people can start building their own stuff inside Grand Theft Auto. I mean, they could do that.
Are you a Beyonce fan, Chris? Is Beyonce in the world?
It's just for some reason it came to
mind. She is great. Okay, awesome.
I like Jay-Z more than Beyonce, I guess, but
okay, awesome. Still good choice. So virtual land is essentially, it is an NFT, and it's in game. So do you think virtual land will be adopted into the mainstream and not just, say, by people that are within the tech sphere or gamers, despite the fact that it's in game?
Yes, I would say yes. I think that it is essentially, it's a product. So every land parcel is a product, and it's revenue on the income statement. So a company like Somnium Space has developers, and they pay the developers to create this entire land. And then they put the empty land parcels there. And it took a lot of money to build all of that and to create all of that. And now they basically have to bring in all of the producers and creators of content to land on those spots, just like in real life. I mean, in Boston, Boston was much smaller at one point, and it grew and grew and grew because of all the business people. If you have an acre of land right on the ocean front, and you just have a little tiny house on it, some hotel is going to come and buy you out within hours, because it's just so impractical to have a little tiny house on such a unique land parcel that's right on the ocean. So businesses basically, if I owned a little tiny land parcel right on the water in Somnium Space, the same thing is going to happen, where these big companies are going to come and buy me out. And I own the land parcel, and I have my little house on it, my little 3D house, and I do my own thing there. But at the same time, someone's going to come and buy me out because they have a way to monetize it per month and per year, where they're going to make a ton of money, and they just don't care about the $2,000 or $5,000 for the land. They have way bigger goals, like building a casino. And the casino is going to create $100,000 per year in revenue for them. They do not care that it's $5,000 for a parcel. Whereas then you have someone on the other end, like a crypto artist, a struggling, less income crypto artist, who's going to have to buy a parcel way, way back from the ocean, way back from Boston, not in Boston, not even in the town surrounding Boston, behind that. And then you have to do things like find a way to transport the people all the way to your parcel, or only use the web link instead of going into VR and walking for 15 minutes all the way to that parcel. So there's the NFT is the non-fungible part of it, where every single land parcel is so unique and different in its own way. You have a waterfront parcel, and then you have a long distant parcel that are just so different in terms of price, even though everything else is similar. They're both a medium parcel. You have the same amount of space to build. Everything is similar, except the fact that you spawn into the center and you have to walk a short distance or a long distance. It makes a world of difference between each person.
So that was actually my next question. How do you value a land parcel? Is it dependent on, the predicted annual income you're going to make from it, or is it to do with the size, the location?
Yeah, so the value, I learned how to value real estate, actual real estate, physical real estate, in two different ways. The one way is you're just a homeowner and you want to jump into it and you want to buy it. You want to live there. The second thing is a commercial business. You have like a strip mall. How do you value a strip mall when they're a small mall with like 10 rentals inside that little tiny mall? How do you value that? The way to value it is the rentals. If you have $1,500 rent times 10 rentals, you have $15,000 per month rent. And if your expenses are 10,000, then you're making $5,000 per month, which is 60 grand per year. And if you're making 60 grand per year, most people are willing to spend at least $600,000 to make 60 grand per year. So the value of that mall is worth at least $600,000, because if it was only worth 300,000 and you could make 60 grand a year, you would have so much, you'd have too much potential there. So it would be taken immediately. It's very similar in virtual reality. So first of all, you can go and look at the history of prices, and you can match them all up and try to figure out, all the waterfront parcels in the history sold for this price, so I should get it.
Where do you look for the history? Sorry,
you can go through OpenSea variable history, and you can look at the history of all the sales. You can also compare the sales to the listings on the market. So if 4 waterfront parcels recently sold for 5 Ethereum, and the cheapest one is listed for 9 Ethereum, you'd be better off putting a bid in for 5 Ethereum on 15 different waterfront parcels than you would be to just buy the 9 Ethereum waterfront parcel right off the bat. So when you're valuing these things, it's all about what you can do with it. So someone who's not going to use the land, someone who's just going to vacantly sit on the land and not rent it, not build on it, not monetize it, they see no value in it. And I talk to a lot of people all the time that see no value in it at all. And I tell them you kind of have to be a producer of something. You have to stream YouTube videos. You have to create podcasts. You have to be one of those people who creates art, creates things and monetizes things, a business person who can actually build a casino, or hire a developer who could build a casino for you. So you invest all of the money in the developers to build the casino for you, and then you can monetize it, like I said. So the person who can monetize a casino in virtual reality, like I said, doesn't care about the cost of the land. A person who has never sold any crypto art but has 100 art pieces for sale on OpenSea, now they're really unsure. I don't know if I want to buy a $5,000 land parcel, but I might rent one for 500 and do the best I can to sell it, to sell that crypto art along the way and make my $500. But if they make $5,000 in 3 months selling their crypto art, now they're willing to buy a parcel. So it's about that revenue per year. Otherwise, you just have a bunch of blank parcels. We're just buying little parcels online and putting them into our wallet and then selling them to somebody else. So I mean, there has to be that underlying use case and value to people. Even if it's not you, you can buy those things and then sell them to the people who do have value. You have to talk that value into people, talk the FOMO and the HODL into people, and make them realize what the actual use cases are and show them what other people are doing with it in order to. There's a person in Somnium Space that sings. So he bought or rented a land parcel. I think he bought one actually. And he created a little stage. He put his Ethereum address on the front so people can tip him. He sells NFT tickets to his concerts. People come in virtual reality and watch him sing. I mean, you can hear him as clear as day singing. Right, and he's just collecting tips right now. So he's just kind of doing it for fun. He's just having fun with the whole thing. But I mean, he's seriously going to monetize that really soon. And if he can make $500 a month, $6,000 per year, he's probably willing to pay almost $60,000 for a front land parcel. If he knows he can make $6,000 per year, he's going to make his $60,000 back in no time by singing and hosting concerts and community events on his parcel.
What have been the most cheapest and most expensive land parcels you've come across in Somnium Space?
Well, I'm very early, so that's a good person to ask. I bought like 4 auctions ago in 2018-19 area from Somnium Space, and they weren't even on the blockchain yet. And I was buying XL parcels for $250 USD, and they were pretty much the first parcels to buy. So you're talking like very center of the main city, waterfront island parcels, those ones that are going for 10 plus Ethereum right now, which is $20,000. And the most expensive I've bought would be most recently, because Ethereum is so high and it seems like the prices have been really high. So I just bought a medium waterfront recently for 5.25 Ethereum, which is, it's pushing up there. It's over $10,000, like $12,000 or $13,000, because I think that I can either rent it or resell it. I think I can resell it for almost 8 to 9 Ethereum, first of all. And then when I list it onto OpenSea, a lot of people see it. And then they send me a message and say, oh, Chris, I wish I could afford that parcel. It's such a nice parcel. Can I pay you monthly for it? Can I do something? Is there any way I can get a handle on that parcel and you can rent it? Sure, you can. And I would, in that case, try to get 0.5 Ethereum. So if I can get 0.5 for that parcel, I think I can get that. So that makes it worth it to me. And then I have a year. Like I don't have a monthly tenant. They pay me upfront for the entire year. I rent it to them, and they have it for an entire year. So I have in about 2 months, I have a few parcels coming up due that I rented 9 months ago. So in about 2 to 3 months, I have a few coming in that are going to have to rediscuss the lease terms based on current price.
Are the lease terms on blockchain? Are mortgages going to be on blockchain, do you think?
Oh yeah, mortgages will definitely be on blockchain. That's going to happen anytime soon. That's a DeFi hashtag. I think that you're going to be able to buy on OpenSea in 2 different ways very soon. I think that I'll be able to list my parcel for sale, or any NFT. I'll be able to list any NFT for 10 Ethereum, or put for sale for 5 Ethereum down payment plus 1 Ethereum for 6 months. That adds up to 1 more Ethereum than the 10 in the first place. So you pay 5 and you pay 1 per month for 6 months. So now you've basically paid interest. You paid 11 for the parcel instead of 10, and you had to pay it over 6 months. The parcel and the 5 Ethereum will go straight to my address. The parcel will get held into an OpenSea smart contract until a few basic things happen. Either the person made all their payments on time and they got the parcel. I got my money, everybody wins. But the code in the smart contract will also say, if you default, the parcel goes back to the original person. So that smart contract is going to be created. I mean, I'm surprised it hasn't been created already. That it's just such a simple thing for to be held in the smart contract and wait for the payments to subside. It makes perfect sense. So that will definitely happen.
It does make perfect sense. Do you think mortgages on blockchain will also be relevant to real world property, or just property that's virtual?
Actually, so you mentioned mortgages. So yeah, there would be like a mortgage lender. So someone could be a mortgage lender and just, lending that stuff. But I'm actually talking about sort of peer-to-peer mortgages. I'm actually the bank in this situation, because I have the land parcel and I'm accepting your monthly terms for 6 months. There's no intermediary, there's no third-party bank that somebody had to get approved for the mortgage and then buy. They actually just told me, as long as you put that into a smart contract, I'm willing to pay you per month until it ends. And as long as I make all my payments, the code says I get the money and you get the land parcel. You could also lock both of them. So if I sold mine for a 5 Ethereum down payment, the 5 Ethereum and the land parcel both go in until it completes. And if it doesn't complete, they get their money back and I get my land parcel back, maybe plus some sort of fee for defaulting, maybe like a half Ethereum fee. So that would be the default fee, which would come out of the down payment that they put into the smart contract in the first place. So there's actually no mortgage. There's no person lending the money in the first place. I also think that people are going to be able to take their NFT that has been selling for 10 Ethereum on the regular and take that NFT and get a mortgage on it and use it as collateral to get more money. You'll be able to lock your NFT into a smart contract, and somebody will loan you 5 Ethereum because they know they can sell it for 10, and even with the volatile prices, they can probably sell it for 7 even in 3 months. So they'll loan you 5 Ethereum for a 6 Ethereum, return. Once they get their interest, they get their NFT back. They or whatever, they rent it, you sell it, you hold it, you mortgage it, you use it as collateral for loans. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things you can do with that type of smart contract.
What are some of the use cases for virtual land? Like, what are people building in virtual land worlds right now?
A lot of individual consumers and users are basically just building houses and fun things. Some people are building for others for an hourly wage, and they've gotten pretty good at the builder, and they have been awarded, $25 to $30 an hour to build on somebody else's land. And the use cases are, an arcade, crypto art, hosting your NFTs, singing a concert. Again, anybody that produces anything, anybody that we follow on Twitter, they're not the followers, they're the leader, the one who's leading the front, the one who creates the things, or the one who pays people to create things. those are the ones who are really monetizing and making money on the actual land. They're building arcades, they're building casinos, they're building museums, they're hosting crypto art. They're taking one land parcel and building a museum and renting out spots to 10 different artists. So a very, very, very small rental fee for, just a piece of the land. $250 times 10 artists is $2,500 rental fee, which is a $25,000 land parcel. So you're talking like there's all kinds of monetization that can go there, but you have to be someone who sells something. You have to be someone who creates something, and you can use these tools to help you sell more of the things that you already sell.
That's like literally fascinating. And I've even heard of people building retail stores in virtual land and then selling wearables in the virtual land as well.
Mm-hmm. You don't even have to sell them. You could have someone like Nike put their latest shoes, like a new Jordan collection of shoes came out. So they make a little 3D look of it. And they probably have 3D artists anyway, 3D modeling artists that do that before they actually make the shoe, before they 3D print the shoe. Then they have this entire shoe, and they bring all of these shoes and this nice land parcel all branded to Nike. And then they hire you as an avatar to stand on the land parcel. And the second you're on that land parcel as an employee, you get Ethereum or Nike tokens as hourly wage for sitting there as a customer service agent, ready to help people and show people the shoes that you can buy on Nike.com. And you just take them around. Oh, you're looking for Jordans? Here's the latest Jordan collection over here. This is the shoe that we have. You can buy it on Nike. You can buy it on Amazon. You can da-da-da-da. And you just start talking about it. So yeah, we're talking like customer service agents helping people in virtual reality for a business. Or you're working at a casino. You're the dealer at the casino, and you're helping people connect to MetaMask. Every new person that comes up and doesn't know how to play the game, even if the game is automated, every new person that comes up may need help in some way with MetaMask, or connecting to the token that you have to use. In Decentraland, it's a mana token, and Somnium Space, it's a cube token. So everything is coded around a mana token. Everything is coded around accepting a cube token. So when you go to those different casinos and you're playing with tokens, sometimes you need customer service agents or you need help. So those, I think, those hourly wages, like a 16-year-old is not going to get a normal job anymore. They're going to go into virtual reality and get a virtual job doing, all kinds of cool things, and they won't need money. All you have to do is get the Ethereum wallet, open a new Ethereum wallet with zero in it, sign up with Nike, fill out the application, walk onto their parcel, be the customer service agent, and start collecting tokens. And then once you have the Nike tokens, you can exchange them on Uniswap or on other exchanges into Ethereum. And now you have basically become your own bank. You never needed a bank. You never needed money in the first place. All you did was open an Ethereum wallet, jump into virtual reality as a tourist, and then as an employee. And then you started earning wages from there in crypto, in virtual. Now you have virtual money used to buy virtual goods in your virtual land on the virtual platform. And we're all hanging out in a virtual world.
Wow. That sounds like, I don't know, it sounds like something out of a future movie, but it really isn't that far away. It's already happening.
Right now. Have you ever seen the movie Ready Player One?
No, I haven't.
Okay, you should watch it. It's Ready Player One, and they're all wearing their headsets, and the entire Earth has turned into like a garbage dump. Everything is worthless in the physical world, but you put your headset on and everything is golden and glorified into this one platform, which is Ready Player One. You can drive cars, you hop into your car in virtual reality, and you can either, right now you can only really like push go and steer. But I mean, soon those controls are going to get better and better and better. You can have all kinds of controls and mirrors and races and things like that with these cars. So it's just going to turn into this major, major thing. But the only problem with Ready Player One was it was created while VR was out, but it wasn't created while blockchain was out. Blockchain wasn't here yet. So whenever people are talking about Ready Player One, the only thing that's missing is virtual money and the fact that you can buy someone else's virtual car on the spot. I show up in my virtual car and I get out of my car and you're like, hey, Chris, wow, nice car. And whoa, nice necklace, Chris. Wow, I want to buy both of those from you right now. What's the price? You click on the car, you click on the necklace, you buy them both into your wallet, and now you have them, and then you drive off in seconds. I mean, it's just going to be, that's the only thing. So blockchain was the only thing missing from Ready Player One. And if they didn't have blockchain, these virtual platforms would have to somehow incorporate credit cards and USD, and then they're global. So you'd have to use PayPal or something like that, where it exchanges all the currencies and uses one sort of currency inside that world. So it turns into all of that. But I think that the Cube token is going to be sort of like its own currency. So it's used for all of these different things. But when you go to Mexico or you go to Aruba, Aruban Florences, I think they're called, you have Aruban Florences there. So you have to kind of exchange your money and use money in their world as a tourist. And then you go to Mexico, same thing. You have to now exchange back to USD and then exchange to peso. So people are used to that type of thing. And it makes it easier to conduct business and be an economy because everyone creating the casino is creating it with that token in mind. So it would be two different casinos in Somnium Space and in Decentraland, one that accepts mana tokens and one that accepts cube tokens for the most part. And again, like using the car, if you wanted to transport in the car or transport in a teleporter, you use the cube token in Somnium Space.
I mean, Chris, that is all fascinating. Thank you so much. Like, I feel mine feels blown, literally. But I mean, virtual land just is something which really fascinates me. And I think it's going to be one of the biggest NFT assets that we definitely have going forward. We have like a quick fire round to do with you, Chris, where I want you to basically answer the first thing that comes to your mind from the 10 questions I'm going to ask you. Some of them are related to obviously virtual land and NFTs, and some are just a little bit more about getting to know you as yourself. So what is your single favorite NFT that you own?
Waterfront XL Parcel. Used to be a teleporter, but I sold my teleporter because it was worth too much money. So I have a Waterfront XL Parcel, which is worth about 15 Ethereum right now.
What is the teleportal in virtual land?
There's 50 teleporters in Somnium Space, and the 50 teleporters are going to use the cube token. So if you wanted to, I was telling you about the distant parcel and the close parcel. The teleporter you would think would then alleviate the value of that close parcel, but it doesn't because it costs money to teleport. So there's 50 teleporter NFTs owned in 50 different wallets, or some of them might be in the same wallet, but there's 50 that can be dropped around the world. And you can get a little closer to the location by using the teleporter, but you have to pay cube tokens to get there. And the cube tokens that are going into the teleporters pool up into a smart contract and get distributed to all 50 teleporter owners. So owning a teleporter is like collecting revenue. So it's kind of like a way to journey around the virtual world. A quick way to journey. Awesome. Where do you see the world of NFTs in the next 5 years, and where do you see yourself in it? Let me just quickly say that I think that the world of NFTs is currently in 2D on your laptop, on OpenSea, and on wearables. So I see that going into virtual reality, much more into virtual reality and marrying the two. So people are either hardcore VR or they're hardcore blockchain, and it's hard for either of them to see the other side. But I got locked in the middle when I met Arthur, the CEO of Somnium Space. I got locked in the middle because I got mesmerized. I would forget about blockchain when he started talking about virtual reality and how cool virtual reality is. And like, it's happening right now. This is all happening right now. Every time people talk about it in the blockchain and virtual reality, they talk about the future, but it's now, it's happening now already. So you can do all of these things that we're talking about already. You just have to put the tools in and start working on it and get it going. It's all happening already. So that Somnium Space is definitely my favorite by far.
Okay, so first thing that comes to your head, if you could time travel, what year would you go to?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No, I'm
You're happy in 2021.
Say that everything that's happened has happened for a reason, and I don't want to go back and try to change things or alter things. I like this year right now. This is a good year.
You go into the future. Okay, awesome. Do you collect anything?
Do I collect any in real life or just NFTs?
Up to you.
Yeah, money. I collect money. I like to.
You're such a landlord, Chris.
I mean, everything that I've kind of said has been spending money to make money per year. So I don't really like spending money on things that don't make money per year. So if I have $5,000, I'm not going to buy a bunch of stamps that sit in a collection or coins, or I even have a hard time with hundreds and hundreds, like 99% of NFTs I don't like. I like the idea that they connect to Ethereum and that they're on Ethereum, but I just don't like them. They're worthless and they have no use case. They're collectibles, but collectibles to me don't have much of a use case. And I understand some people collect collectibles and some people collect gold and some people collect Bitcoin, but for me, they don't make annual income. So they're just not my favorite.
So you got into being a landlord at 21. What was your first job though?
My first job was a bartender for a short time. And my father has always owned his own company. So I guess you could say I've pretty much worked since I was 6 years old for my father's company. He sells
You were
wiring.
a bartender at 6 years old.
No. Sorry. I connected the two things. I was a bartender.
Sure, you got loads
at
of
18.
tips. The cute little bartender.
Yeah, I was. I just
Underage
felt like that
bartender.
gave me a view of being a big bartender, and I wasn't. I was a bartender for like 2 years at a golf course, and all I did was pour draft beer for the most part. But aside from that, my father always owned his own company, which was selling wire and cable products. So like any type of copper wire that's used in your house or behind the walls and things like that, I would sell those to contractors, and contractors would install it on their own. So I've always been, into that. And when I worked for my father, I created the website for him and added eBay account and stuff like that. So we were selling products. That's how I sold things online. That's when I went back to get my IT degree with the focus of web design to help grow my father's company. And then once all this blockchain stuff kind of kicked off and I started getting into the virtual land, I left my father's company at the end of 2019. On the very last day of 2019, I quit my full-time job.
Next question. What is your biggest fear?
Wow.
Come on, don't tell me there's nothing you don't fear.
I mean,
it can be in the real world.
Sure,
too.
some insects and stuff, but biggest fear. Oh, nothing's coming to mind.
You just feel it.
Distraught, like failure, like failure. Failure is my biggest. I think failure. Okay. Failure. Trying.
That's a lot of people's big fear.
Sure. Yeah. It actually stops me from even putting myself out there sometime for the fear of failure.
Who's your hero?
My dad first, and now my new mentor is Arthur, who is the CEO of Somnium Space. I feel like there's no one like him.
Awesome. What's your biggest pet peeve?
People following the herd frustrate me. Blindly listening to advice that you don't research yourself, jumping into things that from afar look so silly, and some people are so involved in it, and it just sounds some stuff like that. Do your own research, put yourself out there when you really believe in something, and don't just buy something because other people are buying it and following the herd.
And finally, what's your life motto? I've really stumped you, haven't I?
Yeah. Man, needed time to think about these questions. My life motto is to work hard and get your own. Don't ask people for things. I don't like taking things from people. I don't like asking things for people. I work hard, and I always have worked hard. I don't like handouts. I don't like charities as much. Charities, that's one thing, but it's like asking for handouts and piggybacking on others has always been something that really annoys me. I like to work hard, do things on my own, get my own job. Even though my father owned his own company, I quit from the company and I went and did my own thing. It's something that, I've always wanted to do. I didn't want to just take over his company and be, the heir to his throne. I wanted to actually go out and create my own thing and do my own thing. So the handout thing is probably one of my my best answers there.
No, kudos to you, Chris. Like, you definitely work hard and are innovative with, I think you're probably if not the first, but definitely one of the first virtual landlords renting out space in the virtual world. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing. And it's been amazing chatting to you. Thank you so much.
I will. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
That is it for this week. If you loved this episode and found it interesting, then tell your mates and give it a like or a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. You can also get involved with the community on socials, and don't forget to #NFTeaseMe.